If you need Pokemon TCG codes, make sure you stop by Town Store. They have automatic email delivery of all the code cards, and they have a really nice variety of stock of all the latest Sun and Moon sets along with all the promo cards. And make sure you use Tablemon code when you're checking out to get an extra 5% off. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be taking a look at Green's Reshiram, probably the most viable and most talked about version of Reshiram. It's a very easy deck to transition from the previous format to the new format. Because of the similarities between the two, though, you do have to make some sacrifices here and there. 270 HP, the attack outrage, 30 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon, so your opponent will think twice about attacking it. Flare Strike dealing 230 damage, and you may not use Flare Strike again, though usually between outrage and Double Blaze, it's easy to alternate attacks. And then we have Double Blaze GX dealing 200 damage, and if this Pokemon has 3 extra fire energies attached to it, then you deal 100 damage and you get the bonus thing of this attack damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So a real nice way to bypass annoying abilities like, or annoying effects like Tag Purge, annoying abilities like Safeguard, things like that. And then we have Volcanion at 120 HP and the attack Flare Starter, which allows us to search your deck for a fire energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. And if you go second and it's your first turn, instead of searching for one, you get to search for up to 3 energy and you attach them as well. High Heat Blast does 50 damage plus 60 more if you have at least 4 fire energies attached in total to all of your Pokemon, rather in play. So these two guys have a lot of synergy together. There's no abilities, therefore Green's Exploration is one of the best supporters we can play. It finds the cards we need. We can search our deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them and put them into our hand, as long as there's no Pokemon with abilities in play, which we will never have. For Welder, of course, to power up our fire type Pokemon after we Flare Star, or sometimes we don't even get to Flare Star, Welder becomes one of the most important supporters for the deck, because we get to attach 2 extra fires and we draw 3 cards. Now we also have 2 Pokémon Fan Club, as we do not have any other way to search for regular Volcanions, which are sometimes necessary. So Fan Club plus Switch can sometimes be useful to get that Volcanion in the active to pressure or use Flare Starter. You do have a lot of control of how many prizes your opponent has to play to, and if you can force them to play to 8 prizes, then that's really, really nice. And now, items-wise, we have the 2 Cherish Ball, that should be enough between the 3 Reshiram and the 2 Cherish Balls. We have 4 Mixed Herbs to heal along with Great Potions, so we are trying to make this guy super, super sturdy and hard to take down. We also have 4 Custom Catchers to target down the right Pokemon, 3 Fire Crystals to recover discarded fire energies, 3 Acro Bikes to dig a little bit deeper into the deck, 4 Pokégear to find those supporters on turn 1, and then we have 2 switches in case we need to retreat and play it cool for a turn, and then we also have 2 Reset Stamps to attack our opponent's hand. This deck is very susceptible to Reset Stamp, but we do need to play Reset Stamps ourselves. And then finally we have the 2 Giant Hearths to search for energy, which is insanely good for Welder. We also have 2 Power Plants to stop abilities because they are running rampant right now in the meta, and then we have the single Heat Factory because it's a really good Prism Star Stadium. Now I don't know why I don't have the gold Pokégears, but I just added them. I will save the deck list and I will go into the ladder to play a couple of games. Hopefully we face off against new standard decks. I've been getting like a 50-50 mix so far between new format decks and old format decks. This might just be a mirror, and I believe SH Panda shows up to a lot of streams and stuff, so this should be good. I do believe we will be going off in the mirror, so we are going to mulligan, so that's not great. So we're hoping my opponent will not start Volcanion. That would be the ideal scenario. But we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so not the best start, right? I mean, I do have a welder, but I'm missing a way to get the energies for the welder. So this Acro Bike and our top deck are going to have to be huge. That energy is actually a pretty good top deck. That does mean we have a higher chance at weldering 2 fires on our first turn. My opponent also didn't start Volcanion, which is good news. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep the Pokégear, yeah, because weldering 1 is just not good enough. So I'm gonna Pokégear here, fail it, just hoping to get a greens, of course. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and welder. This is a very, very underwhelming welder. Now we're stuck. That tends to happen way too often. And anyways, PTCGO will be PTCGO. Okay, so my opponent goes for the turn 1 greens. I would assume, like if we see a switch or something, my opponent will be able to get the Flare Starter. Actually, we see a Fire Flint and a Welder, which makes sense, right? And it's definitely what you want to be able to do on your turn 2 if you don't start Volcanion. Very jealous of that Fire Flint, but really anything could have been useful. And then this is just the game we play. I mean, the deck is filled with a lot of dead cards. I feel like I took the steps to try and prevent this from happening, yet it still happened. Okay, we see another greens. So my opponent building up his hand, not in any rush to get a knockout here. I don't actually agree with that play. I feel like if you see your opponent draw pass, just go ahead and pressure, right? Go ahead and pressure. He could have knocked out the Volk with Flare Strike. He would have also already built up to the double plays, so I definitely feel like that was a little bit too passive for my taste. And now I have top deck they fire. Like, if my opponent had Flare Striked and drawn extra cards and whatnot, he would have been at 4 energies. So another welder got him the double plays, GXKO, and all I would have done was outreach for 30. So I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, I am being threatened by the double plays now, of course. Because my opponent did directly search for a custom catcher with the previous greens. So we're still in top deck mode. We're still very far behind in this match, even though it's only been 2 turns. But oh well. My opponent decides to attach to the active. Yeah, I was gonna say, you definitely, like, if he retreated, I would have been very surprised. He decides to Flare Starter, gets even more energy into play. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach here, and then I'll Flare Starter, right? I mean, no matter which Reshiram is going down, we still get to keep enough energy in play to potentially attack with Volk, and then at some point top deck a Welder, perhaps. It's 1 supporter versus 4. Yeah, my opponent has been able to use a supporter every single turn versus me, which I have yet to use more than 1. It was a Welder, but it wasn't even a full Welder, so quite difficult to make a comeback in a game such as this one. I mean, we have the same number of energy in play, so I still very disagree with my opponent's early game decision, though, to not be aggressive. It's like, I definitely was at a big disadvantage after draw passing, and my opponent had a really easy way to take advantage of that. So there's the custom catcher. Gonna knock out one of my Reshiram, which makes sense. We don't know if my opponent's playing any healing of sorts. The only card that could save me here would be maybe a green top deck. Very big maybe a Welder. Greens would be better because then I could search for a Reset Stamp. But that is neither. That is neither nor. There's no point. Well, I'll play it in case I get Reset Stamped, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Literally the worst possible top decks I could have gotten. I've gotten them versus a perfect setup. So, I mean, at least you get to see what a good flowing Reshiram list, or not, like my list is good. Yeah, it's just so happens that like we have basically the same thing, right? Even the Acro Bike. Just so happens that when one draws supporters and the other doesn't, like 19 cards versus 34, 7 energy in play versus 4. What can you do? What can you do? Then a Greens Exploration, double Custom Catcher, go after this guy. Eight energy, 1 Fire Crystal played, so not even stalling would help here. Like trying to bring out the Volk. Yeah, I'm just gonna concede. There's no point. There's absolutely no point in doing this anymore. Okay, let's find a new game. So hopefully the deck runs for us just like it just did for our opponents. At least we got a... Okay. We're now going into our second mirror match, back to back. How many supporters will we be able to play this time? I guess we'll find out. Okay, the answer is at least 2, because I can't search for another one with the greens. So we're so much better than the previous game. And that's a magical top deck. That is, in fact, a magical top deck. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and Cherish Ball. Okay, so I would love to get the turn to Gale on this guy. Right? That is the dream. So in order to do that... Oh no, okay, the turn to Gale is very unlikely. Unless I Welder this turn. But then I need back-to-back Welders. So realistically, it's so unlikely that I'm not even going to bother with it. Now go ahead and grab a Giant Hearth and another greens. And then I'll go ahead and Giant Hearth away a fire. I mean, I fully expect my opponent to take advantage of this Giant Hearth, but I am okay with that. As long as he doesn't like switch out into Volk. Now we both started Reshi, so it's an even matchup that way. Attach and green would be the ideal scenario here. The thing is, like afterwards, what would we even do? Okay, goes for the Pokégear, doesn't use the Giant Hearth first, which I'm very surprised, and fails the Pokégear. That's really rough. I feel you, W.J. Wallace, I feel you. I know what it feels like for that to happen. Okay, second Acro Bike. Lost a Fire Crystal. And a fire, and we see the greens. So we're on even footing here. Goes for Cherish and Welder, so we basically have the exact same setup, basically. Now, the big thing is... Okay, decides to power up the benched guy. And I very luckily draw another custom catcher. So I feel like I should wait, right? Because I already have the custom catcher, he's committing to the bench dude. So I'm just gonna go ahead and commit to the active with the welder here. Not quite what I was hoping for. So do I just outrage? Or do I flare strike? I feel like I'm just gonna outrage here. Flare strike seems... Excuse me, flare strike seems unnecessarily risky. Right? Okay, there we see the welder. Is it possible that we see another welder back to back from my opponent and a switch? That would be annoying. That would be annoying. Double bulk off of that. Okay, I definitely think fan clubbing myself for 2 Volcanions and then getting rid of 1 for extra fires is a good call here. And that shows a little bit of weakness, I guess. But now I'm very scared. I am generally very scared. If my opponent... I mean, setting this guy up is really good. Basically, if I don't get KO'd, I win in 2 turns. And as long as my 4th custom catcher is not priced. Will my opponent have switch plus welder? That is a question. Fails another Pokégear. Okay, that's pretty unlucky. That's 2 failed Pokégears for Mr. Wallace. We generally could have lost the game right here. Goes for a greens. Okay. Okay. So I feel like we're gonna be able to wrap this one up. It's been a really weird succession of turns. I definitely feel like I misplayed by not grabbing just double welder off of the first greens, because then I could have taken the initiative the previous turn rather than this turn, and I wouldn't have put myself in this sort of risk. The choice helmet is super annoying. Cherish helmet is super annoying because then this particular Reshiram, the one that's active, I won't be able to KO. But I mean, we're getting rid of 4 energies. It should be fine. Right? It should be fine. Onto the damage, that is perfectly okay by me. Probably gonna choice helmet the active, I would imagine. Right? That's what makes sense. And then we see the pass. Okay, so I definitely don't mind this. Okay, so I'm gonna use this first. Okay, pretty solid. Then I'm gonna use this. I generally don't want my opponent to draw extra cards, right? I have him in a spot where I should have a very comfortable win. So I feel like this would be the right way to go about it. This, and then how many fires? There's 3 fires. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find welder plus greens, because the greens gets me even more healing. The welder sets this guy up for when I do need it, and then the double blaze gets the knockout. So yeah, I was gonna say whoever gets the first double blaze should be able to win this match. Really hard to recover from that, unless you have your energy split right between 2 Reshiram. That's the ideal way, but then whiffing twice for my opponent was really unfortunate. And like I said, I completely understand the frustration. But yeah, guys, that will be all for the Reshiram video. 2 mirror matches in which you saw the deck work on the other side, and then on my side, It is fragile, but if you get a turn 1 greens, the deck just runs on its own. The issue is that when they stamp you, if you don't find greens, then you can get a little bit stuck in a situation where you're down to top decks. If you need any Reshiram, check out PotonStore.com. They have a bunch of codes. They also gave me Reshiram PTGO codes to give away. I've given out one on Twitter, one on Facebook, and the next one is on my Instagram, so don't forget to follow me there. So you'll have a chance at winning a Reshiram code, so you can build this deck potentially, and use Tablemon code. Use code Tablemon at the store when checking out to get 5% off. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.